Alright guys, you know how it be. It's a new season of Halo Infinite. That means we gotta ask that same old question. It's part of the rules. Did X season save Halo Infinite? In this case, did Season 5 save Halo Infinite? Before I give my answer, I think it's important for everyone to think about what is considered a saved game. Not just fun, because yes, I get the game is much more fun now. Trust me, I know. Despite how critical I am of this game, I've had my share of fun with it from time to time, but that's not the same thing as a game being saved. I mean, you can think of it that way, I guess. Let me try and paint a picture. Look at a multiplayer game like Back 4 Blood, a game that suffered on launch and very rapidly died out. Let's say they drop a huge content patch that's really good, and I figured I'd get the boys together and we have a fun time in it. Does that mean the game is saved? Perhaps to some people, but in the grand scheme of things, probably not, because it would depend on how many people are like me who give the game a shot, people who are willing to give it a positive review or exposure, people who stick around. Does that make sense? There are more layers to this whole discussion. It's the point I was trying to make. With all that in mind, just meditate on it. Picture in your mind what Halo Infinite looks like to you when it is saved. Is it feature complete and then some? Is the desync still biting people in the ass? Is the server stability actually stable? Does the progression of the game feel good? Is the monetization less egregious? Is the campaign good? Is the story of Halo satisfying in-game? Does the perception of the game matter, meaning the reviews and review scores? Do we take into account the number of players playing it? Whatever vision you came up with, apply that to what we have now and you will have your own answer. We're all gonna have different answers, it is what it is, but the best thing we can do is explain ourselves and hopefully find some level of common ground. So do I believe Season 5 has saved Halo Infinite? I'm actually gonna cheat a little because my answer is I don't think so. But with the question mark at the end, I got maybe two reasons why. First, I think it's fair to say that player count and optics are a huge indicator of a multiplayer game's overall health. And this is not just any multiplayer live service game, this is a Halo game we are talking about. Also, I am using Steam as a base for this, mostly because it's extremely difficult using Xbox to gauge the game's population. Even if it just barely made top 15 of most games played, I don't think right now its population is where it should be for a Halo game on top of a live service game with nearly 2 years under its belt. I mean, it hasn't even broken Season 2's player peak yet, and that was with like way less content, way less features, and well, less hope. Player retention is also an important thing to look at, but that's too soon to judge because 343 have chosen to spread out their content throughout all of Season 5's lifetime. It's partially why I put a question mark at the end of my answer, because we just don't entirely know how player retention is going to hold up. We'll just have to see how these next two operations along with Halo 3 Refueled and Firefight affect the game. I'm interested in seeing how many people stick around and the reasons why they aren't sticking around if they've chosen to jump ship whenever these additions make their way into the game. The reviews are looking a bit better. It just broke mostly positive for now, and if you've been poking around YouTube, there has been a lot of positive reception, and not just from your usual Halo content creators. Secondly, and this is where I lean more towards the no side when asked if the game has been saved, because Halo Infinite still has a good amount of fundamental issues that are keeping it from reaching its full potential, keeping it from getting more people to not only install the game, but stay longer than the first week. And as far as I know, these are issues that are not getting addressed this season. Things like desync, server stability, granted not as bad as it was on launch, but it can still be felt. Skill-based matchmaking in socials is another thing I hear that's really screwing people over. There's no real meaningful progression in the game besides the Master Chief Armor Kit that you can get for reaching hero rank, and maybe ultimate challenge rewards, but because the rewards are usually mediocre and time-gated, I kind of don't want to count that. I know the Battle Pass got some improvements this season, but it's still really basic. I finished that whole thing within like 1 week, and I wasn't even playing the game a lot past the first 3 days. There isn't really any cool challenges or things to play for, since most of what could be challenge-based rewards are in the shop. The Halo CE Armor Kit will be no exception, and I'm by no means taking the position of have everything be free, because I am trying to be fair to the way this game is modeled. In a previous video, I did suggest upping the Battle Pass price, putting more cosmetics in the battle pass instead of the shop. Add challenges that reward cosmetics that are only accessible to people who bought the battle pass, and you can't buy your way to earning them. And for the love of Master Cheeks, allow us to buy things individually in the shop, like this skin. It looks cool, but I don't want to pay $20 for it. You're out of your mind, dude. I think if they do changes like what I'm suggesting to their paid content, it will go a long way, because the way it is now, it's going to be more harmful to the game's future. And I think more people need to be more vocal about this issue instead of growing complacent because the game isn't as bad as it was on launch. Say what you want about people who complain about shops and microtransactions in video games. They aren't wrong to not want to engage with games that have them with no meaningful progression to back it up, especially in Halo where customization is a huge deal for many players. Also, shops just in general leave a bad taste in people's mouths because they're not here for you. They're not here for the good of the player. They exist to scam you out of more money than a video game is worth. No one likes these things, but we unfortunately put up with it because it's Halo. Like, one of these bundles is $30 freaking dollars. Like, dude, there's a Steam sale going on right now as I'm recording this video. I could buy 2 different video games with that amount of money. These prices in Halo Infinite are just insane. Now, the last couple things I want to mention are more personal to me, but maybe some people can relate. There isn't really a fun game mode I really found myself wanting to sink my teeth into. I've just been doing custom games and squad battle. I tried a bit of extraction mode, but as I predicted, it wasn't a mode I really wanted to play more of. Firefight is one of my most anticipated modes, but it is just a basic firefight mode with King of the Hill. I'm not sure if it will be the mode I lose myself in, but that depends if 343 will do more with it, like adding community firefight modes and maps. I'm still waiting for like an invasion mode from Halo Reach. That was my jam back in the day. I also dislike not being able to opt out of certain modes like Capture the Flag or Oddball. That's been a huge frustration for me way back during the open beta. Like, it kind of sucks. And on top of all the issues I listed earlier, it keeps me from playing the game more than I would like, as well as confidently recommending the game to anyone I know. I don't know how I can consider this game as saved when I can't even do that. And it's not like I'm telling people to not play the game. I'm loosely recommending it, like a give it a shot if you want kind of recommendation, which, hey, that's a massive improvement compared to the kinds of things I used to say about this game over a year ago. So that's kind of it for my response to that fun question that we ask ourselves and other people every season. But even if Halo Infinite may not be considered a saved game now, doesn't mean it may not be that way later, because for all we know, the game could pop off within these next few months or next few seasons. I actually do have hope for the game. It's just not where I want it to be yet. I just think we'd be jumping the gun a bit right now saying things like Halo Infinite has been saved, or Halo Infinite has been fully realized, or now it's complete, because I know it's not true. There's still so much work to be done and so much room for it to grow. We'll just have to see how it all pans out as time goes on. And like I said earlier, we're all gonna have different answers on whether Halo Infinite is saved right now. Someone making a battle royale mode in Forge might be enough for some people to parade the game around, or the game still having that nerfed Spartan cake will continue to keep people on the sidelines saying this game freaking sucks. Alright, look, I'm just using that as an example, alright? I'm not agreeing or disagreeing here, you know, don't look at me like that. Anyway, let me know what you think if you care about this sort of thing like I do, or don't, that's fine. But before you leave,
Please, I just ask for a like on the video in these trying times. As you can see, it's my livelihood. I totally do this for a living and not because I find it enjoyable. So subscribe to the channel if you could as well.
okay, bye.